Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here on Saturday, August 12th, continuing to try to cook up some of this NFL preseason football, man. We are now 4-1 on documented premium plays over at Pickdawgz Premium. Cashed another play of the day winner yesterday with the Pittsburgh Steelers, brings us to 3-0 this season on the play of the day in the preseason. 4-1 overall on documented premium plays. Our one loss yesterday was the Cincinnati Bengals. Couldn't close the gap there in the second half. We're just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward from last year. On documented plays, we were 20-7, and thus far this year, we're 4-1. So we're just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward. Video-wise, we went 4-2 on sides. Totals were a little shaky, but totals are not my favorite thing in the NFL. I told y'all yesterday was a lot of leans, and I got a lot of leans for y'all today as well. Sides, I love sides. I love picking winners in games. How many points they're going to score, it's not my favorite thing, but I know a lot of you enjoy that and love that and like hearing my thought process on that, so I try to throw those in as well. So without further ado, man, let's keep this momentum rolling forward. We got 6 games today, 6 more games to try to make some money in, so let's try to do just that. I'm not here to waste y'all's time. I'm here to put some money in y'all's pockets, man. Remember, my documented plays are at Pickdawgz Premium if you want those. I'm finna break down all 6 for you right here, though. So without further ado, let's hop right in. First game up, we got the Colts and the Buffalo Bills, man, in Buffalo. But Indy is favored by 3.5. Kind of crazy, huh? But we have to remember, this is preseason football. These are not full rosters, and you got to take that into account when betting preseason and looking at lines for preseason. In the regular season, this line would probably be Buffalo -9. That's not what this is. I don't expect the Buffalo Bills to play a whole lot of starters. This is a Buffalo Bills team that has Super Bowl aspirations. This is a Buffalo Bills team that has a lot of veterans on this team, a lot of guys that already have the NFL experience. So getting them reps, live reps, especially week 1 in the NFL preseason, is not high on their to-do list. I will say the Buffalo Bills are one of the deepest teams in the league, and that's why we have seen them have preseason success over the last few years. One of the deepest teams in the league are the Buffalo Bills, and I think that's why we've seen Sean McDermott have so much success in the preseason in years past. Today's game worries me, though, because I think the Colts are going to take that same approach that some of the other first-year head coaches and younger teams have taken, and that's to take this preseason seriously. I don't think Buffalo is taking this game as seriously as Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis is going to play some of their top-tier guys a little more than Buffalo, and I think that's why we see Indianapolis favored here in this game. Anthony Richardson will get substantial amount of playing time in this game. Rookie quarterback, first-year head coach trying to establish some momentum into a building, into a team that didn't have a lot of success last year and is not projected to have a lot of success this year. So what does that mean? Let's get some winning morale. Let's get some camaraderie going in the building. Let's try to establish some positive momentum by winning our first preseason game, looking good in our first preseason game. I think that's fresh on the mind for these first-year coaches. And I think the Colts' approach to this game will be better than the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback rotation, let's talk about that quickly. I like the quarterback rotation a little more for the Indianapolis Colts. I expect Anthony Richardson to play about a quarter, maybe more. Behind him, Gardner Minshew. I would say Minshew is a top 5 backup in the league. I think that's fair to say. And I think he'll be just fine here in this preseason game. We saw Minshew look really good in a start last year in the regular season for the Eagles against my Cowboys. Lost the game, but was competitive in that game. Looked fairly decent in that game. I think here in the preseason setting of going against 2s and 3s, he'll be just fine. Behind him, Mr. Texas, We're back. Sam Ehlinger will be the 3rd-string quarterback. I have no problem with him. I think he is very capable of taking care of the 3s and 4s for the Buffalo Bills. Ehlinger is probably going to be the guy in there late, the guy trying to cash our bet here on the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to take the Colts here in this one. I'm going to lean in their direction. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills quarterback room quickly, though. The Bills have Josh Allen. I don't expect him to play in any capacity. Behind him, Kyle Allen and Matt Barkley. These are guys who are career backups, have seen regular season starts, and probably have a million preseason games under their belt. So I think they'll be okay in this game, but I just don't trust their offensive line will be there for them late in the football game, as I think they'll have, like their fourth string in there. And I just don't trust the depth for Buffalo here in this game. Although I know I said a minute ago this is one of the deepest teams, I just don't think we see that coming to play in week 1 of the NFL preseason, not for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, is all I'm saying. I think the Colts' approach to this game will be more seriously. I think the Colts want the win more than Buffalo, and I think the Colts get the win. And I understand why the Colts are favored by 3.5. Total-wise in this game, I would probably have a small lean on the over. I think all these guys can possibly move the football. I think Kyle Allen and Matt Barkley will be just fine here in this game. I think they'll probably put up a few points, and I think the Colts put up points as well with Minshew, Richardson, and Ellinger. So just my thought process on this game. Lean over like the Colts to win and cover. Let's move on. Game 2. We got the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears. We're in Chicago for this one. Chicago's favorite. Chicago was one of my money teams last year in their preseason, and I'm going back to them here in this game today. Chicago, a younger team than Tennessee, a team, second-year quarterback in Justin Fields, who will get some playing time in this game. I think that'll translate well for them. Behind him, we got P.J. Walker. I love me some P.J. Walker. I think he'll flourish here in this preseason setting. And behind him, Nathan Peterman. I'm not high on Nathan Peterman, but to be the third, fourth string in a preseason game, I think exactly right in his wheelhouse, and I think he'll be fine here in this start. I think the Bears are going to come in here and just play that Bears-type football. Run the football. They have two mobile quarterbacks in P.J. Walker and Justin Fields. That usually translates well in preseason. When the play breaks down, those guys can make plays on their own, escape the pocket. The defense is not accustomed to those type of guys escaping the pocket. It just adds a wrinkle to the game. I see the Bears defense being, playing some good football in this one, and I lean in the direction of the Bears here. I do. Tennessee, we're going to get a lot of Malik Willis and a lot of Will Levis. They'll probably go half and half. I don't expect Ryan Tannehill in any capacity. Malik Willis didn't throw a touchdown pass at all last year, and we seen him play substantial NFL minutes, regular season minutes, didn't throw a touchdown pass. So that's not a guy that I'm trying to just rush to the window to bet, and I'm not sure what we're going to see from Will Levis. These are two guys that had a lot of draft hype that we haven't really seen translate into NFL hype. So we're going to get our first look at Will Levis today in a preseason setting, see what he's talking about, and Malik Willis, a guy I'm not all that high on. I think these are guys that had a lot of hype behind their name in the draft and haven't really panned out. I think the Bears are the better team, more equipped. Mike Vrabel, the head coach for the Tennessee Titans, won't even be coaching this game. It's going to be an assistant. I don't see the approach for Tennessee, a veteran team in my mind, trying to win this week 1 preseason game is all I'm trying to say. I think the Bears are trying to win this preseason football game. I think the Bears are trying to establish some positive momentum rolling forward into a regular season. I'm going to lean taking Chicago, laying the 3.5. Total-wise, I would probably go under this football game here. I just don't see a lot of points being scored. I think this is going to be probably one of the ugliest, sloppiest week 1 preseason games on the entire card. A lot of running the football, a lot of time coming off, a lot of clock being chewed, probably a lot of punts. So lean Chicago, laying the 3.5. Lean under Tennessee, Chicago. Next up, game 3. We have the Jets and the Panthers. The Jets, this will be their second game as they played in the Hall of Fame game last week. They lost that game to the Cleveland Browns, and if I'm going to be honest, I think they lose this game as well. This is another rookie quarterback with the first-year head coach in Carolina, so you know what that means. I think Bryce Young plays at least a quarter. At least that's what Frank Reich said. His starters will play in this game. So I do understand them being favored here. And I think that they're going to try to establish some positive momentum moving forward into the regular season. These are the type things I'm looking at to attack here in the preseason. The Jets didn't look good last week. Zach Wilson looked okay at best. He probably plays a quarter here, maybe two. Strebler looked terrible. Is no longer on the team, so we're probably going to get a lot of Wilson, a lot of Tim Boyle. I'd expect no Aaron Rodgers in any capacity. I told y'all last week I think the Jets are a top-heavy team. This is a team with not a whole lot of depth, and here in the preseason, that's what we're betting on. In the regular season, will the Jets be good? Of course. In the preseason, will they be good? I don't think so. I think Carolina approach to this game will be more serious. I think Carolina wants to establish some positive momentum in their locker room with a young coach, or not a young coach, but a first-year coach and a young quarterback. A team that was okay last year but is trying to have some positive morale moving forward in the building. I think the Panthers' approach to the game will be more seriously, and I think the Panthers win this game. I would look at laying the points with them here in this one. Next up, we got the Jags and the Cowboys. Y'all know it's my team, man, my boys. Here's my thought process on the game. Doug Peterson said his starters will play in some capacity, so we will see Trevor Lawrence. We will see Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, and the crew. How long? I'm not sure. Will that be a quarter? Will that be a drive, 2 drives? I'm really not sure. I lean in the direction of it's going to be 2-3 drives max. Do I understand with that being the narrative of this game, the Jags being favored? I do. But as I tell y'all every time in these preseason games, that is not who we're betting on. We're not betting on starters, especially not week 1 NFL preseason. We're betting on the 3s. We're betting on the 4s. Those are the guys that are going to be in the minutes that matter. Those are the guys that are trying to cash our bet third, fourth quarter, especially week 1. With that being said, I think the starters for the Jags will be long gone by that point. And if you're laying points with the Jags, you're relying on C.J. Beathard and Nathan Rook. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I think the Cowboys will compete in this game. I think the Cowboys' depth is better than Jacksonville. And I think the Cowboys have a legitimate shot to win this game, but I'm just going to grab the 4 points in my back pocket. Mike McCarthy is a coach who has historically not taken the preseason all that seriously. So that is my concern here. But I do think depth-wise, the Cowboys are pretty well equipped to play in this game. We got Cooper Rush probably getting the bulk of the minutes early in the game. I don't expect Dak Prescott in any capacity. And then behind him, we got the West Virginia guy, Will Greer, who has been in this Cowboy system for a substantial amount of time. So is Cooper Rush. I think these guys will be just fine. I think the Cowboys will run the football with Deuce Vaughn out of Kansas State. Looked really good last year. I think he'll look good here in this preseason game. And call it homer if you want. I'm betting my Cowboys here in this preseason game. I think our 3s and 4s are better than the Jacksonville Jaguars 3s and 4s. I think our depth is a little bit better. And I think late in this football game it's going to be tightly contested. And I'd rather have the points in my back pocket. I don't trust C.J. Beathard and Aruke to carry a win into the end of a football game. I'm sorry, I just don't. I trust Cooper Rush, who looked good last year, kept our ship afloat for Dallas while Dak Prescott went out for a substantial amount of time. Remember, Cincinnati came into Dallas last year. Cooper Rush was a starting quarterback, and we beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Cooper Rush is perfectly equipped to be just fine here in preseason action. So I'm leaning in the direction of my Cowboys here in that game. Next up, we got the Eagles and the Ravens. So I know if you're watching this video, you know what's up with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they've won 23 straight preseason football games, 21-2 against the spread in that span. The Ravens are the preseason team. They are. But the books know that now as well. Everybody knows that this is probably the most public play on the board today in all sports. The Baltimore Ravens here in this preseason football game. They're favored by 5 points. Here's my thought process. There's no way in hell I'm fading them in this spot. I'm just not. I can't do it. The Eagles, this is a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. So what is their motivation to come out here and be competitive in the preseason? This is a team that reloaded in the offseason. This is a team that is going to be a top 2-3 team in the NFC all year and has legitimate shot to get back to the Super Bowl. I just don't see them coming out here and trying to look good in week 1 of a preseason game. We know what the Eagles are. They're going to be right there in the end with, I think, the 49ers, the Cowboys. I think those are the top 3 teams in the NFC, and I think the Eagles will be right there with all those teams in the end. So I just don't see them. I just don't see their approach to this preseason game being all that serious is all I'm trying to say. When we look at the quarterback rotation for Philadelphia, they have Rook. I'm sorry. No, they don't. They have Ian Book, and they have Marcus Mariota and Tanner McKee. I don't expect to see Jalen Hurts in any capacity. I think we're going to get Marcus Mariota probably starting, probably get a quarter in, and then we're going to see Ian Book and Tanner McKee. I'm not sold on those guys being the guys trying to cover a spread third, fourth quarter, especially not against a team that takes the preseason as seriously as any other team takes the preseason in the Baltimore Ravens. Let's look at the Baltimore Ravens starting rotation. They have Lamar Jackson. I really don't expect him to play in this game much, if at all. But they have Lamar Jackson 2.0 and Lamar Jackson 3.0 on this roster, and I feel very comfortable having my money on these two guys. Tyler Huntley will probably get the bulk of the minutes in the first half. Remember, Mr. Huntley made the Pro Bowl last year. The Pro Bowl is how good he played. Being in there for Lamar Jackson while he was injured, I think he'll be just fine here in this preseason setting going up against the 3s and 4s for Philadelphia. And behind him, Anthony Brown, Lamar Jackson 3.0, I think he'll be just fine. Both of these quarterbacks can escape. Like I talked about earlier, when a play breaks down, they can create plays with their legs. That's exactly the type of things we're looking for in preseason action. Everybody and their mama, their uncle, and their auntie is going to be betting the Baltimore Ravens today. I'm going to be one of them. I'm sorry. It is what it is. No way I'm fading the streak. Like I said, they've won 23 straight preseason games, and they're 21-2 ATS in that span. They take it seriously. Harbaugh really takes it seriously. I think they take it seriously here. I think their depth is probably more equipped here in this preseason game. I don't see the Eagles taking it seriously, and I think the Ravens can win this game by a touchdown. I really do. So give me the Baltimore Ravens laying the points here in that one. Last up, I think this is the hardest game of all. Or I wouldn't say hardest, but the game that, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. But we got the Chargers and the Rams. Rams laying 3 points. What I'm trying to say is Sean McVay has been Mr. I don't care about the preseason. That's who Sean McVay is. Since he's been in the league, he's mostly had veteran groups who had Super Bowl or far playoff aspirations. So his approach to the preseason was there is no approach to the preseason. He played like John Wolford all the preseason in years past. He's no longer on the team, but that has been Sean McVay's approach to the preseason in years past. Who cares? This year, that's not the case. He's come out and said this preseason is going to look a lot different than years past. I have a younger team than in years past, and I have to get these guys some real NFL reps this year. Am I going to buy into that all the way? Not really. But on the other side, Staley usually has the same approach as McVay. Who cares about the preseason? I don't expect to see Justin Herbert in any capacity. I don't think he's played a preseason game since he's been in the league, so I don't think that changes. I don't see the Chargers changing their approach at all. I don't. I'm going to take what Sean McVay said, and I'm going to give him an opportunity. I like the Rams, and I'll lay the 3. I also like Stetson Bennett a lot for the Los Angeles Rams. I think we see him look really good in this preseason football game. Also, hot take. You ready? I think if Matthew Stafford goes down in any capacity this year, there's a chance when he gets back healthy, he might not get his job back. I'm that high on Stetson Bennett. I think he'll be just fine here in this preseason action. The Chargers have Max Duggan as their backup. So we're going to get the national championship quarterbacks possibly going up against each other. Duggan out of TCU, Bennett out of Georgia. Should be an interesting game. It's probably my least favorite game of all, though, as these two coaches historically just don't take the preseason serious. So if you don't, how am I supposed to take your game serious? So you follow my drift? We're going to see if McVay holds true to his word and plays his guys and takes this game a little seriously, more seriously than he has in years past. So, small lean, smallest lean of all to the Los Angeles Rams. So, that's all 6 games, man. I tried to run it through for you guys. Hopefully, we keep the momentum rolling forward. Hopefully, we can make some money betting NFL preseason today. I appreciate y'all joining me. I appreciate y'all watching these videos, man. I really, really do. Let me give a quick recap on all the games that we talked about. Lean in the direction of the Indianapolis Colts. Chicago Bears against the Titans. Carolina laying the points. Dallas getting the points. Ravens laying the points. And Rams, small lean, laying the points, man. I think we got a lot of younger teams, a lot of young quarterbacks, and a lot of first-year head coaches today trying to establish some positive momentum rolling forward. We'll see if it comes to fruition. If you want my play of the day, the play that I have the most money on, you can find that over at Pickdawgz Premium. It's going to be $25 for the NFL one. We're 3-0 on that play thus far this year. 3-0. Trying to go for 4-0, man. Scoop it up over at Pickdawgz Premium. I do bet baseball as well. So if you're looking for baseball, I do bet baseball. I've been positive units in baseball all season, and I've been on an absolute heater on the play of the day in Major League Baseball as well. So you can scoop that play up. That one's going to be $19. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. Let's keep this momentum rolling forward in the NFL preseason, man. We got 2 games tomorrow, so I will be back then. I'll see y'all then. It's been your guy, man. Let's make some money tonight. I'm out of here. Peace.